Hi, too. Black here. Hey, check this out. I I answered a comment. Okay, I have a video where I talked about how Ford F-150, when it came out with the 2015 model, okay, the earlier EcoBoost, they put an intercooler in front of the condenser, a rather large intercooler. And turns out the intercooler was too large. It was so large that when you drive around normal, it builds up, it cools the air down so well that it builds up condensation inside. And then when you stomp the gas, the boost goes high, it blows the condensation into the engine and the engine stalls. Okay, so to combat that in 2015 and up, Ford installed a smaller intercooler, or at least on the 2.7, which I think all of them, the intercooler is under the radiator. At least it is that way in the 2.7. Okay, someone made a video some time ago saying that the intercooler was too small and you needed a larger intercooler. If you wanted to turn the boost up on the F-150, you need a larger intercooler. All right, someone left a comment talking about that was true. You know, you can't turn the boost up without putting a large intercooler. Of course, it was somebody with no automotive videos. You know, I say all the time, you have companies that create problems that don't exist, and then they try to sell you something you don't need. For an example, I was doing some reading. I worked at an auto part place one time, and I looked up a fuel pump I had an 89 four-cylinder Mustang, 2.3 four-cylinder, 88 horsepower. I looked it up one day and looked up the fuel pump. And then I was just wondering, I looked up to see how much did a V8 fuel pump cost. They had the same part number. So in 89, probably 88, probably 87, probably 90, probably 91. 5.0 Mustangs and four-cylinder use the same fuel pump. Now some people will say that's impossible. The V8 uses twice as much fuel. Yeah, when it's making 222 horsepower, but when it's running idling or whatever, it probably still uses more fuel than a four-cylinder, but it's not a hell of a lot. But again, you may have a company like Harley or whoever makes fuel pump put out an ad. If you got a 1989 GT Mustang, you need to take the stock fuel pump off because it's just barely adequate. You need to buy our high flow fuel pump. That way your engine can make max power. People create problems that don't exist to sell you stuff you don't need. Another example. I haven't seen this, but I wouldn't put it past. One day somebody gonna come up with a fuel pump of a high flow fuel filter. They'll claim, if you got a 2004 Chevrolet Trailblazer, look at this little bit of fuel pump. You need to buy all high flow fuel pumps so you can get maximum fuel flow. Again, people create problems that don't exist to sell you stuff you don't need. You want another example? When I had a 96 Chevrolet Tahoe with a 350. It came from the factory with a two-row radiator. I went to the junkyard to buy a used radiator because at the time I was broke and I didn't want to spend $200 for a new radiator. So I go to the junkyard and they sold me a rebuilt radiator. I think it was $100, I think. That was a 4-row radiator. It was all aluminum, and they talked about, it was so heavy duty, and it's twice as large as your normal radiator. I put the radiator on the car. I never had a problem with the car running hot. The truck never ran hot at all. But I put this 4-row radiator on, and I don't know why, but my damn cooling fan ran more with that 4-row radiator than it did with the normal 2-row radiator. I don't know why, but it ran more. And what I mean by ran more, GM mechanical fans for the longest time have always been aggressive, kind of loud, especially with the V8s. and even the 4.3s for that matter. But for some reason, once my truck after it ran for maybe, I don't know, 2-3 minutes, the fan was shut down. You wouldn't hear the fan no more. But with that 4-row radiator, I don't know why, but you heard the fan a lot more. I mean, the truck didn't run hot, it didn't run no cooler, but you heard the fan more. But getting back to it, the damn 4-row radiator, all aluminum, hell, they start leaking. You know, speaking of that, that's another video. Do you know I put like 4 radiators in that truck, and all 4 of them leaked in the same spot? They would leak on the driver's side between the tank and the aluminum part. Right there with me, that's where it would leak. So anyway, like I said, I went to the junkyard and I bought this rebuilt all aluminum radiator. It leaked, I don't know, a few months later in the same spot. Took it back and they gave me a 4-row. This one was aluminum and plastic. Actually, I don't think it was 4-row. But anyway, they gave me that one, kept it on for a while. It started leaking. I took it back to the junkyard and there was like a whole line of boxes of radiators that people had returned because they was all leaking. And then they tried to blame it on me, talking about maybe you're not installing it correctly. And I'm like, y'all got all these damn boxes of returned radiators. Well, anyway, I did something I shouldn't have did, but I'm gonna tell you what I did. I got that last radiator from them. I then went to O'Reilly and I bought a new radiator, okay? I then took their radiator and put it in O'Reilly box and returned it and got my $200, whatever it was, from O'Reilly. And guess what? That radiator started leaking. And I think it lasts longer than the other ones, but hell, it started leaking in the same spot. And at this point, I'm wondering, what the hell is they doing with these radiators? Finally, I think I went to AutoZone and bought a radiator. And it leaked. It was about 2 years later, it started leaking. But by then, I was buying stuff off eBay. So I ended up buying a brand new radiator off eBay for $80. $80. Put the radiator on. Let me tell you about the radiator. Now, all the radiators I got from the junkyard and the one I got from O'Reilly, my original radiator, it had an oil cooler and a transmission cooler. It had a transmission cooler on one side and an oil cooler on the other side. I think the oil cooler line, they screwed right on, but the transmission line wouldn't fit. I had to use adapters on all of those radiators, from the one from the junkyard and the one from O'Reilly, and I think the one from AutoZone. The one I got off eBay, the transmission lines hooked directly up to the radiator, but I didn't have any problem. When I sold my Tahoe, it had that same $80 radiator in there. Brand new $80 radiator off eBay. But anyway, I got off the subject. This is Dre. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, leave them. Y'all have a good day. Bye.